Welcome to the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast, where we explore the transformative power of inclusivity and the strength found in vulnerability. I'm your host, Lindsay Mazza, and with each episode, together we will go on a journey of reconnecting with all parts of ourselves to foster healing and inspire a more inclusive and compassionate world for all. So grab your headphones and settle in for soul-fulfilling discussions that will make you laugh, provoke thought, and be the catalyst for growth. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast. I'm so excited today. We have a very special guest, Eric Bigger, who is the owner and creator of Spiritual Fitness. He's a thought leader and coach and one of my newest and favorite friends. And I'm so grateful he's here. Thanks for coming, Eric.
Yes. Thank you for having me. And to people off the record, like we just had a powerful conversation about life and, getting out into community and helping each other. And no one really cares about how many followers you have or how much money you make or what TV show. And basically, what we were talking about was like, I think we want some more authentic souls and want us to connect more because social media has really disconnected us. I don't think it was by choice, but I just think we chose for that. But what I'm saying is more authenticity, no more hiding in plain sight about showing our true colors in every moment that we can. So, Lindsay, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm happy to be here and share light, love, and wisdom with your audience.
Yes, love it. Okay, so why don't you tell us what your journey has been, because you haven't always been this sparkling, enlightened soul, I imagine. It's been a journey.
Yeah, so the funny thing is, so most of my life I have been like the one everyone looks forward to hear from, to give advice. I always been a leader, but I always been a leader that was hiding in plain sight. So early on in my life, I did everything for everybody that was around me. If he was my friend, family, loved one, that's just who I am. But it came from a place of lack. It came from a place of, I had emotional abandonment. Emotionally, I didn't feel my parents were in my life the way I needed them to be. So there wasn't really too many people to talk to. So what I did is something called framework. Aaron Dowdy talks about it on his YouTube. And what it is that people who are more empathic, healers, light workers, we can feel other people's emotions because I neglected myself. When I went out in the world, I always looked at who needed help, who can I share time and energy with, who can I please, like I was never my friend on what Eric wanted. I was like, what do people want? And I mastered that. I mastered the professionalism of taking care of people from such a people pleasing way and a very lacking limitation paradigm because I wanted to get love. But here's the thing: people pleasing is a subtle form of manipulation. It is manipulation. You're manipulating people to like you and not leave you and abandon you. But I got so good at it that I gained so much success from putting on this mask, smiling, being positive, doing all things. I still was reading books. I still believed in God. I prayed. I still did things, but I did not feel my true feelings and emotions. So I neglected them. I protected them. I suppressed them. And I just worried about, okay, I'm going to be an overachiever. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to write these books. I'm going to be this guy. And I'm going to make sure everybody feels good. No one never feels alone. And they're always understood. And someone's always listening to them because that's what I wanted. So if you notice, people who always ask me, what's your sign? What's your life path number? Because those people, which talking about myself, we wish someone asked about us when we were young and tapped into us.
Yes.
So it's always a reflection or projection where I wanted love and attention and harmony from people outside of myself because I wasn't getting it at home or my environment wasn't giving me that. So I found a way to give it to eventually understand, oh, I became that. But I never will let see people see me sweat, be weak, or be less than. And so with all that information and all that awareness from a young age, I call it survival instincts. I was successful. I did 4 TV shows. Wrote 2 books. I have a podcast. All the things you think you should get, egotistical wise. And it was great until those towers fell last year and went through a dark night of the soul. I had to release a lot of relationships and friends, and it left me dry and lonely and sad. But guess what? That's where I needed to be. When I stopped fighting being sad and stopped fighting being lonely and stopped fighting that I was really miserable, I was just happy go lucky kid, but really sad in life. And I was helping people still, I was helping people heal, but I needed it more than they did. They just didn't know. So I was hiding in plain sight. So here we are.
Yeah, and I think what's really cool about this is we talk about how, well, at least I do, this is something that I try and live by, is being in service to other people is how you live authentically. But what's interesting is I think when you're unconscious of how you're moving throughout the day, you believe that this people pleasing is a form of service. But because it's coming from a place of validation for your own ego, it's actually disconnecting you more.
Or just validation from what you didn't get, like which is
Right.
still your ego. Because I didn't know until I got older, like, oh, because my boundaries were weak. I just let people take advantage. Just like they knew they could call me to pick them up from the airport. They could call me Friday to get in town on Saturday, and I would pick them up. It never came across their mind what I had going on. It's like, oh yeah, he always picks up the phone. I'm gonna call him. I'm gonna just dump all my shit on him. He's gonna listen. He's gonna be there, and I would, and I helped them, and I saved them, or whatever you want to call it. But I never thought about how I felt because I felt like it was never important based on how I was raised. I was like, oh, my feelings don't matter. Yours do. How can I help you?
Right. And then you're just chasing that validation even more and
Yeah.
depleting yourself even further.
And I'm programming them how to use me and how to misuse
Yes.
me and how to see me as this strong exterior figure, but really I'm really shallow and weak inside because I don't know how to speak up for myself because I don't want to lose people.
So, was there a specific moment in time for you? Like, I like to talk about how my rock bottom became my miracle moment, right? And I think that that is a theme that many people experience. So, was there a moment in time where you were like, wait a minute, this is not who I want to be. It's not really sure who I am. I really need to peel back the layers and get uncomfortable with myself.
Well, I think I had several tower moments, to be honest. I think my first one was well, one, when I first came to LA at 22, it was like so humbling. I couldn't get a job. I graduated with honors. I had a good resume. I couldn't get a job anywhere. And I'm like, this is weird. How do I graduate from college with honors, with a decent resume, and I couldn't get a job anywhere? And so at 22, with a college diploma, I just knew I was on top of the world. I went to LA. They didn't give two shits about me. And what happened was I worked at a sneaker store and I was making $8 an hour. It was so humbling, right? So I had a government job prior to that. And what happened was that's when personal development started for me. I was like, something ain't right. Like I thought I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to school, I did well in school. I mean, I had a government job I didn't like. I didn't want to live in that cubicle life, so I said no. I said yes to my dreams, right? And then I worked at the Beverly Center at Chic Shoes, was a sneaker store and shoe store for women where I sold sneakers, eight and shoes, $8 an hour. That's when I started getting into personal development, Think and Grow Rich, As a Man Thinketh, The Secret, and then I started applying those principles, and boom, things start changing within 12 months, 14 months. I got a new job at Abercrombie& and Fitch. I was a manager. Oh, baby, boom, I'm making more money. I booked some commercials. So I actually, the work I was doing on myself was actually manifesting. And then I got comfortable and then I stopped. So boom, fast forward from there. Another tower moment is when I quit. Well, see, I'm such a risk taker. I was at Abercrombie for probably 18 months. And then I said, when I had the money to produce this mobile app, it was called Eric Bigger Successful Living. I'm going to quit. So that's when I quit. And I went to work for myself as a trainer. And that lasted about 7 months. And I hit another wall and I was just stuck. And then like a few months after that, I went back to Abercrombie as a model. You know how humbling that was? So that was probably like 2 or 3 years after I quit. I went back as a model. So I knew what it was to be a manager and hire and fire and tell people to go home and write people up and, do the sweeps of all the rooms and I was a model. It was so humbling. And then I went to work at a nightclub downtown LA. I did Uber. I sold Kangen water machines. And it was great. But the thing is, I didn't stop doing work on myself. And over time, I would get better and I get better. And then when I realized 2 years at the nightclub as a door guy, I'm like, hold on, I think I'm making more money working for myself. So then I went to Uber for a time, and then I was kept right down my, money. Oh wow, I'm actually making money working for myself. I got different clients, more clients. Uber was really helping. And then God willing, the universe is strong, the work paid, and here comes the show, the TV show, The Bachelorette. 17, and my life just took off. Boom, all my dreams came true. But here's the thing. People don't know the story prior to me being on TV. They just see me on TV. They don't know that I was struggling in LA. I was in a one bedroom with a roommate for 5 years. I did Uber. I worked at the door. I was at a nightclub. They don't know the work I wasn't doing. I was doing either. And then I feel like that kind of got me into the position to attract the show because I had just moved. I'm into a new spot by myself. I was paying 2,000 a month. I went from 650 a month to 2,000. This is actually helping me now because it's like, what happened? My identity changed. I
Mm.
started spending more money. Once I moved into that place, I went from 650 in a one bedroom apartment to 2,000. It was 1850 plus, utilities by myself. 6 months after that, I got the call of being a bachelorette. What changed? My energy changed because the environment I was in. I was in a nice, luxury apartment building. Two, I was spending more money. And here's the thing: before I got the apartment, I was afraid, like, oh, how am I gonna make this rent every month? Because all I had was
Right.
Uber and personal training. But the Uber was good to me because I was probably making about 600 to 700 a week if I really worked those hours, which was burning me out, right? But I had money in my account. And then I went on the show and I still had to pay my rent, right?
Yeah.
So I was able to Airbnb my spot. I got a loan from a mentor, and it all worked out. And then my life took off even more. And then I was on other shows. I was doing brand deals. Oh my God, all my dreams came true. Podcast. And then fast forward to 2022, going into 2023, I could feel it. Like something don't feel right. I'm in a relationship for the first time. I allow myself to receive some love in my heart space. I was like, oh, I'm doing something different, right? And man, that was a roller coaster year. Almost lost it. Almost lost it all. My dad was in and out of the hospital. I thought he was gonna pass away. I didn't know how I was gonna make money. Brand deals slowed up. I was in a very toxic relationship that was good when it was good, really bad when it was bad. Twin flame, if anyone knows. And it was so much contrast, and it's the first time in my life I could really say I really felt depressed. I was getting alopecia on my beard, like it was stressful, like it was, whew, it
Wow.
was, it was one of them years where I'm like, God, is this my life? Is this real? End of the year, thank God I never gave up, right? I had the opportunity to go on a TV show. How ironic. In the worst years of my life, the end of the year, I go on a TV show.
Seems to be the universe's sign for you.
Right. But
Throw him
prior
another
to that,
TV show.
yeah, prior to that fitness segment on the Sherry Show, November, this was last year, I got rid of my ex. I got rid of all my close friends, my management, everybody. I cleared them out. So what happened was all these followers and all this fame and all these brand deals. I was just Eric that was in an apartment by himself in the middle of the floor in tears of a broken heart. And when I was on TV, raising and smiling, I was in the most pain I ever felt emotionally, mentally in my life. I was in New York by myself for the first time, where I thought I would still be with my girlfriend, still have my friends and management. Was there by myself. No one knew. I fly home from New York, and let me tell you something. 3 months prior to all of that, I was in this fear cycle of like my ego was dying. What if I lose my apartment? I was like, I didn't have any money. Like the money I had was in a mutual fund. I didn't think I could get it out. Thank God for that. I think I spent like 50 a month for like 2 years. I was just putting it in there, right? So I was able to get that money out. So that helped. But it's still, I just felt like I was behind the eight ball. And it was just fear was just really psychological fear was like, and the thing is, it wasn't that me losing everything that's really was hurting me was the fear of it, the energy of fear that was like taking over my body, right? So when I got back from New York from doing the show, I got some momentum end of the year. Mind you, I'm already a month removed from past people in my relationship, and I had prayed about this. God, please remove any and everybody that's not for my highest good. And boom, universe went to work, and it
Yeah.
was intense, quick. And I'm like, oh, I never thought it was, these people. Anyway, I get back to LA. It's like the second week of December. I get really, really sick. Like I was buried for 5 days. Thank God I made a pivot to say I got to take my business online. I would just get up, go to a Zoom, train and coach my clients, and go back to sleep. I didn't even work out, right? And I was so sick. And, I remember before going to New York, I met with Shahara Rose. I'm gonna give her some acknowledgement. And she was saying like relax and trust. She's like a healer. She has a very big following on Instagram. She helped women, and she was like, relax and trust. That's all I remember her saying. And then when I got back, that's all I kept hearing, like, relax and trust, relax and trust. And I was saying, you know what? I literally said, I don't even give a fuck no more. Like I'm done. And it's
Yeah.
just like I let go, and it was like something left my soul. And let me
Yeah.
tell you something. A week after that, it's 3 in the morning, man. 3:48, 3:43. I can remember vividly. And a client, one of my former clients, big client, that spent a lot of money with me prior, but I believe because I was in that toxic relationship, I pushed that energy away. She texted me 3 in the morning telling me, Eric, I need your help. And
Wow.
mind you, I'm asleep, I'm by myself. I say, I gotta get back to the basics. All right, E, this where you are. And she said, how do I pay you? And what's your rate? Whatever. She gave me a retainer for 3 months, all up front. I made more money in that moment than I made in the last 4 months of 2023.
Wow.
All because I surrendered, I relaxed in trust, I let go, and I just said, I surrendered. And then I signed another client up for 6 months. And so I was just like, wow, look what happened when you just let go. You trust, but more so you get energy out. Because I really believe it was a lot to do with the energy I had in my life,
Mm-hmm.
but it was intense. I remember being on the floor, just heartbroken in the mirror, looking at myself like, what's wrong? Like I betrayed myself, betrayed myself. And so, fast forward now, I'm 10 times better. Thank God for that. I
Yeah.
still have my struggles like we all do. It's always ebb and flows if, you know, depending on what I'm choosing at the time. But it was intense. It was intense. And I'm happy I went through that because it gave me perspective. It built my character. It gave me more wisdom. It actually led me to do a plant medicine retreat in Peru where I hiked Machu Picchu. And now on this other side, I was able to meet you and all these other amazing, spiritual, driven, intellectual people that can help me without trying to help. Just their energy is helping me, right? Because I've always
Yeah.
just been that person that helps everybody, but then who would I go to? And granted, I had healers and energy people, but you know what I'm saying, just my tribe of people I get to
Yeah.
converse with day to day. Yeah, so so to your question, that was a long answer. I had several tower moments. I just wanted people to
Yeah.
get the gist of like, we have several, we're not aware of, but I was because I had to look back at like what happened and why. So here we are.
Yeah. And I think that like it's an amazing trajectory to follow you on because I think the pattern was until you had this most recent like the moment where you finally surrendered was you were chasing, right? You were chase and that's this is what we all do. We chase, we chase, we chase, and that will take you a certain distance. But then if you're not properly aligning your energy, you're going to hit a wall, right? And I think when we're in that energy of chasing because it's how it's been baked into us, right? Especially people who are self-proclaimed A-type personalities, go-getters, it's like I need to do to make the things happen for me. And I think it takes those sorts of extreme circumstances, like you just described, to actually understand what surrendering is because you get to the point where there's actually no other option. You are so exhausted, you're mentally unwell, physically unwell, and then you throw your hands up and you're like, okay, somebody needs to help me. And that's when the universe can swoop in, right? And
Yeah.
the evidence that it provides is almost immediate. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and it's just beautiful because I do find myself. I think one of my biggest challenge in life, it's in my gene keys. Anyone who's looking to like human design, and I have a gate
Mm-hmm.
47, which is like transfiguration, transmutation. It's like I gotta allow life to come through my body to evolve and transmute to my higher self instead of letting it come through my mind, trying to figure it out. Because I'm really good at figuring things out in my mind, but then that stresses me out. I get tired because I don't trust my feelings because I'm afraid to feel because for whatever reason, my childhood, I don't know, trauma. What I'm learning when I just allow myself to just be however it is. Like I was telling you before off air, like, oh yeah, I was talking to someone and I was like, man, I just, I did this, I did that, and that. And like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so tired. I just feel like it's like, no, it's okay. Just be tired. It's
Yeah.
okay. You're tired. Go to sleep. Don't try to justify it and make it. It's like for what? Be okay and be in congruence with being tired. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't try to make sense of you being tired.
Yeah.
It's like you don't make sense of you. You don't make sense of you breathing.
Yeah.
You're tired, and it's okay. I did a Akasha record, and she said, when you're in your heart, life flows. When you're in your mind, you take yourself out.
I
And you
think
know what? I
everybody
want to
does.
share this. I want to share this. I was in deep meditation this morning, and my spirit was like, and if you want to make more money, get more in spirit.
Oh, I need to hear that today.
This is like, whoa! It's like 4 in the morning, right?
They only come in when you're sleeping. And
Yeah,
when you're in those moments, you have sleep deprived days.
yeah. And I'm
That's
like,
when the
yeah, I'm trying
genius
to
comes in.
scale this. I want to scale this. I
Yeah.
want to do this and do this. Like, if you want to make more money, just get more into spirit.
Oh,
Okay. Hey,
yes.
relax. Okay. Don't try to think about nothing. Just get more into spirit. All right, all right. And I know what it means
Smart.
because I've done it, right? But when you
Yeah.
work for yourself and you're always trying to hit points or whatever, it's just, your natural tendency of like, someone was like, I just think it's time for you to step up. I said, guess what? I've been stepping up my whole life. I don't have a problem with stepping up and jumping, but sometimes it's a lot. But yeah, so that was just such a odd moment this morning, and it just came in very soft, very simple. In this moment, I wasn't looking for it.
Oh, it's
But a
the
few days
best.
prior, I was.
That's right. But you were blocking it until you.
Yeah,
Until 3 this
yeah,
morning. Yeah.
yeah. So I was just like, okay. So yeah,
Oh,
it's a journey,
so
people.
good.
I want people to know that and the thing is, it's ongoing. You always have to do the work, just like you always go to work, or you always go to the gym, or you always eating clean, or you always talking to your friend. It's the same thing with anything you want to grow in your life. I like it because I know I'm right where I need to be. Because before I was so frustrated, why haven't this happened? Oh, I'm just angry all the time. It's all this Capricorn placements, by the way. It's, oh, I need to get it done now, right now. And it's like, no, it's not the time, young man. Just let it all evolve, right? So I'm learning on this side of life, patience, presence. Patience, presence, along with trust. Let go.
Yeah. And so people who are,
Just at the beginning of this journey, I always like to try and give them some, tools because it feels so overwhelming, and it's was
Yeah,
overwhelming for both of us. I did the same thing. It was like this manic manifesting, right? It's like, okay, I'm going to work towards this thing, and then I get the thing, and then I stop meditating and I get lazy and I make excuses. And I think that it's so important for people to remember that it's not about perfectly executing those moments. It's about always have basically having 100% return rate, right? Like people fall off, they get disconnected, but if you always return to it, then you can't go wrong.
yeah. There's a thing I always say, progress equals happiness, right? But then
Yeah.
there's this thing of it's not about what you have, it's not about what you're getting. It's honestly, what are you becoming in the pursuit of what you think you should get?
Yeah.
Are you becoming more of a overachiever, burnt out person because you want to look like you have it all? Or are you becoming a more calm, present, trust, patient person, and then you get 10 times more with less effort? Because we
Yeah.
always got to think about what we becoming now. Because you could get all the things, but I always tell people we don't know how certain people got their things, so don't judge what you see, right?
Yeah, totally.
It's all about who are you in the moment and what are you becoming as you pursue whatever it is that's in your wheelhouse of having that you think you need or you just desire to call it in. There's nothing wrong with that, but I believe in just being in alignment and constantly trusting because my South Node is in Virgo 11th house, so I'm always into the new thing. I'm really supposed to be having fun in this lifetime,
yeah,
but I'm so used to being
same.
productive. And it's like, no, let go. Trust. Because when I let go, TV shows come, more money come, more opportunity come, people like you come into my life, right? So, but if I'm looking for it, I push it away. When I'm not looking for it, I say, hey, remember me? Oh, you forgot you was thinking about me 3 months ago. Hey, here I am. You was blocking me.
Yeah, that's right.
It's so true. I know it's magic. And I think
Yeah.
also when you surrender, The other thing that is important is that the universe will put the people in your life that you need on that
Yeah.
journey, right? You don't have to figure out the how. You
Yeah.
just have to work on you. And that's really hard too. That is a
It is.
hard muscle to exercise.
Especially when you've been so good at it for all your life. See, I've been good at being self-employed, self-motivated,
Same.
self-driven, with no one giving me feedback. I'm just me and God. Okay, God. And then when I get a little bit on my high horse, I'm forgetting how much God gave me in the spiritual realm. And then I'm trying to get back when I'm like, look at you. Now you want to come back. I always say TV and social media and brand deals has always been my mistress that's kept me from my wife. And my wife is spiritual fitness. Spirituality has never failed me. The gym has never failed me. It's always stayed by my side. It's always was there when I need it. But those other things, no, they're gone. Hi, they come and they go.
Yeah.
So that oneness, infinite intelligence, the universe, the creator God, you know, Pachamama, whatever you want to call it, it's always there. And
Mm-hmm.
it'll never leave you. And I think we leave it, not that we're disconnected from it, but we're not incongruent, we're not fully embodied in it because we get a little bit of sauce from the flesh, from the 3D, from the tangible, and we think we're just, yeah, hey, and it's like, no, let me pull you back a little bit. So people, don't forget how it started. Don't forget what you were praying for that you now have that you're ungrateful about now. That could be you. That was
Totally.
me at points where I could not be grateful for anything because, like Lindsay said, all I was doing was chasing highs, dopamine. And then
Yeah.
every time I get it, couldn't appreciate it. What's next? When you write another book, when you're gonna be on the next TV show, who's gonna be the next client? And it's just like, bro, you need to just relax and be thankful. Look where you live at. Look how you live. I couldn't even see it. I'm so blind.
Yeah. I know. I know. I've been there too. I remember when I became a lawyer, the day that I was called to the bar, and I'd worked towards this goal my whole, educational life. And I was depressed on that day. Everybody else is thrilled, and I'm standing there thinking, okay, what's next? Is this it? And I mean, that should have been a moment at 26 years old to be like, okay, that there's a problem here. But always chasing, always looking for the next thing. And it comes from a fear place, right? It comes
Yes,
from
yeah,
a
scarcity.
totally of always having to figure it out. And that's why, like you said, the relaxing into it, then you're trusting the universe to show you the next steps. And you can't just sit there and do nothing, right? Like that's another thing that I think
Yeah.
people, you have to take inspired action, but it has to come from a place of alignment and not scarcity.
And sometimes the action is not aggressive, it's very calm. It might say, go
Yes.
sit down for an hour in silence. It might say, call Lindsay and ask her about the law degree. It might be, call your mom and listen to her rant about her life for 2 hours. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that deep. But we get
Yeah.
so like, well, that doesn't lead to anything. No, it does. Because things are manifesting as you're listening to your mom for 2 hours. Or you go help your nephew put his Legos together. Or you go volunteer at a homeless shelter. Yeah, that's your
Hmm.
spirit wants you to do the things that might not make sense logically, but spiritually, your spirit is your higher self knows what's happening.
Yeah,
That's why you got to
absolutely.
build that relationship and trust. So it's I'm just grateful, right? I'm just feeling, I just dropped in. Like, I'm just really feeling grateful for people like you, Lindsay. Because
Me
today I had
too.
another podcast interview with someone who was so impeccable. And I get to do the things I love with people who are passionate and enthused about what they get to do. And
Yeah.
it
It's
helps
beautiful.
me be more grounded in the now,
Yes.
you
And it's
know?
an
And
energy exchange.
yeah,
It's we're all raising each other up, right?
yeah,
And yeah, and I think I mean, I love this is an example, the randomness of how Eric and I met. This is how the universe
yeah.
works. It's so random, right? I'm in an hour outside of Toronto, Canada. Eric's in LA. And I went to an event at the beginning of October. That it's November 8th as we're recording this today. And I wasn't going to go to this networking event. And something in my soul was like, you need to go to this event. And sure enough, I met Deepika, who's our publisher. She connected us, and it's immediate. Like, know that when you have that soul connection with someone, and it's really special. So
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
it's
grateful.
brilliant. Relationships run the world, and sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we don't have the relationship within ourselves to recognize that there's a relationship outside of ourselves, like i.e. events, working
Mm-hmm.
places, or going to dinner with your aunt you haven't talked to in 10 years, or listening to a relative cry over, a breakup. That is also a relationship that can mold more things that come into your life because it's so in our ego, like, oh, they're not on what I'm on. Like last interview I was on, I was telling them, I said, look, you know what's funny about having all this success and fame and chasing our dreams and getting everything? The people that never left me was the people I grew up with. Those people stayed. Those are only friends I could call and cry to, be real with, and who never judge me. And it's not many. It's probably like three. Probably had three to two, plus a cousin. So it's not many, but those are the friends that love me for me and not what I became or what I could do for them. And I was like, it's so odd. 14 years in LA, I did it big, supposedly, right? But the only people that's still around is the people I grew up with. And the new people like yourself, Deepika, shout out to Deepika, she's amazing. And everybody that I have in my life, my clients. How is that so? But all the friends I accumulated in LA, for the most part, who I consider friends, they're no longer in my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So remember, people, do not forget when you're on your come up, when you're growing, when you change. And yeah, listen, I see a lot of friends I don't talk to no more. So let's get that clear. A lot of people I
Mm.
don't deal with. That will happen as well. Quiet as kept. The people that I can call right now that's gonna pick up are the people I was in sixth, fifth, seventh, eighth grade with. We
That's
grew
so
up in the
nice.
neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
Um, it's just sometimes need to go through a little awakening to know, like, okay, who's really for me? Who's going to tell me the truth no matter what I think or feel, where I think I'm at, and who's going to give it to me raw because that's what I need, not maybe what I want, that I can continue to build that friendship even stronger, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a beautiful journey of I feel like my life has been like The Alchemist. I don't know if people read the book, Paulo
Yeah.
Coelho, The Alchemist. Just been through this whole maze of life to get to the mountaintop to realize like everything you want is so simple.
It's true. We overcomplicate it.
It's so simple, brother. It's like,
Yeah.
and I think the root to the for it to be simple is that we have to truly be vulnerable and authentic. And I think that's the hardest thing for most of us to do because we are programmed. You live in a world where people judge you for being real or being yourself. People gonna judge you anyway, so it don't even matter. But when you more open and honest with the people that love and care about you, you can grow your life faster and quicker because you're not holding anything off the table. You're kind of like, look, this is what I have on my plate. This is what I can do.
Yeah. And open and honest with yourself. Because I don't
Yeah.
know about you, but there has never been another human being that has said meaner things to me than I've said to myself.
Yeah, because you talk to yourself the most.
That's right. So you got to get a hold of that internal voice first.
Yeah, it's
Right.
true. I mean, I always say
Yeah.
the best relationship is the relationship with yourself. The best marriage is marriage within yourself.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's totally
Most
true.
love you can give, most success is within you.
So can you talk a little bit about spiritual fitness? So what that entails? How did that come to you?
Yeah, so late last year, well, most of last year, I just had one client that was online. Shouts out to Kathleen Cameron. And I've never trained anybody online. I'm like, I said, okay, let's see. And but prior to training her, I had already had this concept in my mind that I was trying with a client here in Beverly Hills who almost died of COVID. And so I was like, when I get back into his energy, I can't just give him physical stuff when we work out, right? So over the year training her and helping her release so much from her body and life, and she's already was successful with making money, but she's just transformed her whole body, her mind, and just how she sees herself and all these things. She told me something. She's like, Eric, you're not a trainer. You're more than a trainer. Come on. You think? And I remember doing my module on her for the first time, a form of spiritual fitness, which is, we set our intentions. I'm praying before I come into the session. Clients don't usually know this, but I'm just giving people a backdrop of what happens. We get into the sessions, we move for 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, but during the 45 minutes, we're having conversations like this. You're just working out. It's deep, revelations, transparency. You feel comfortable, you feel safe. We stop. Once the 45 minutes of movement is over, we get right into breath work. And then we get into affirmation declarations and then I pray. So what was happening was I was seeing a lot of success, but she was like the guinea pig because I've never done it. And this is online. She lives in Toronto, of all
Right.
places. So she's literally 3 hours away. And I'm getting up online training. And the next thing you know, she starts spreading the word. She has a big following, a lot of people in the community. And then I put something on social. I was like, oh, I love to work for you. I love to train with you. And I was like, okay, all right, all right. But before that, I was telling myself, I have to find a way to make my business online. If I only have to be in places just to make money, then it's not gonna be good for me.
Right.
Because what happened was when the brand deals slowed down and TV stuff, I still was training. I've always been training, but my clients all had gyms in their home, and I had but I didn't have but so many. Also, when summertime hit, everyone's out of town,
Right.
so no one's training. So that took place, and then I met Deepica. We started to work together, and I don't even know how I gravitated to the thought of spiritual fitness, but it just kind of came to me. She's like, there it is. And she's like, I hate the gym. I don't work out, you know. She's like entrepreneur, independent, driven. And she's like, I like working out with you. It's just really great, and excited. I'm like, okay. So another person said the same thing. So I'm like, I think I might got something. But I wasn't in my mind, I wasn't thinking about building something that's gonna help change the world or it's innovative. I'm just thinking like, oh, this is just what I do. This is my module. This is who I am. And it took a name of its own. I got with Devika. We talked about it after a few times her training, a few months, and she started like, oh, I think I'm launching my book publishing company. I was like, listen, you start the company, I'll be your first author. Let's get it. And boom, from there, you know, that's when I really start thinking about what is spiritual fitness. And
Yeah.
spiritual fitness, with all of its details prior to me, when I was just talking, is literally the format and the formula of your vessel to transform your life, mind,
So good.
body, spirit, soul, and emotions, right? Because if you
Yeah.
understand, just look at life. Everything comes through your vessel. Every opportunity, all the money
Hmm.
you make, every relationship, your family, your loved ones, feet. So I'm teaching clients through that portal of spiritual fitness. We're setting intentions. What's my intention for this month? We're talking about real life stuff. We're talking about pain. We're talking about problems. But Devika, just to connect her in, is that everything she's talked about, she wanted to do, she's manifest
Yeah.
through her vessel.
Yeah.
And the great thing about spiritual fitness, it's like being in the church of your own home, which is your vessel, which is your body, to learn your soul, to understand your spirit, to understand your mind, your thinking, and to really use your body, your energy to manifest your life through your body.
Yeah.
So it's really like a hijacking the body to get to the spirit, to connect to the soul, to understand, okay, what do I really want in this lifetime? And how does that align? And then you mix prayer, breath work, and affirmations. It's a complete cycle, and then you're spiritually fit, right? It's not just about your body, it's
Yeah.
about your mind, it's about your soul, it's about your evolution. And so, and look, everyone's in a different space in their life. This year alone, 3 clients went through a divorce, 17 years, 15 years, 20 years. And with this space of spiritual fitness, I helped them get through that, from movement, from listening, from holding space, and then letting them be who they really are. And life take a place of its own, and people become more stronger and more wiser and more confident, and life evolves.
Yeah. It's amazing. I think people don't realize that. A lot of people do. And I didn't until like more recently was how, when you're anxious or you're having these feelings, like the importance of moving that energy through your body by physically moving. You cannot neglect that aspect of it, right? It's so important for the whole package.
Yeah, because you are the package, right? And I think
Yes.
it's like, we always looking outside ourselves, but it's for me, with all my pain, suffering, or just my evolution, I realized, like I said prior, spirituality and fitness has never left my life. And it's also, people say, why do you work out? I said, because the gym is my medicine. It's my therapy.
Yeah.
That's how I deal with my successes, my failures, my fears, my anxiousness, whatever I might have. I can go to the gym and I know I'm gonna feel better. And I'm just moving my body, and I'm learning as I'm going. And I just want people to be in a healthy vessel. Like, cause we know the people, we've been in those spaces where you have everything you think you want, and then you're still empty inside, you're not happy. You're like, so what am I missing? You're missing you. You're
Yeah.
missing your soul. You're missing like, tapping into like what does your heart want versus what your mind is telling you. So it's incredible channel of information and opportunity for me to present something to the world. It's going to be that everybody, anyone can do it. And look, spiritual fitness can be in the writing world, can be in um, getting ready for a test. You can use it, a relationship. It's all spiritual fitness. It's not just movement. It's every part of your life. It's a way to tap into those parts of yourself by talking about it, thinking about it, and then embodying it through um, moving your vessel. You can go walk and say, you know what type of relationship do I want? I'm going to walk for 20 minutes and I want to think about the person I want to call in as a partner. And then you move your
Mhm.
body for 20 minutes and then you think your body and then you breathe and then you claim, well, my partner is so great. My partner is amazing. You call it in and then you pray and then boom, and then you're gone. So imagine doing that all the time in different ways. Eventually, guess what's going to happen? You're going to manifest it because you're
Yeah.
calling it in an intentional way through the spirit of your fitness, not the world fitness, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
So where can everybody find you?
How can people work with
Hey,
you?
let's go,
Yes.
people. Yeah. So Instagram, go to
Hmm.
Eric Bigger on Instagram. Also go to my YouTube, Eric Bigger. Subscribe. I have all content on there, TikTok, Facebook, but Instagram and YouTube is the main points. Also, subscribe to Spiritual Fitness Podcast. I have a podcast where Lindsay is on. Our episode is coming
So
up
good.
pretty soon.
So
And
good.
just connect. And I think what I really want people to do, DM me. Like, let's have a real conversation. Like, I want to
Yes.
build with people. I want to build some rapport. I want to get to know, like, who are you? How do you think? What are your fears? Like, because I'm not a coach or a person who is like, no, I'm not gonna hide my truth from the world no more. I did that before
Oh,
because I thought that's what I
Mm.
was supposed to do. I'm not. Well, hey, look, this is how I got here. This is what's going on in that moment right now. This is what I'm thinking about. And spiritual fitness will revolutionary the community of the fitness world because it's different, but it's simple. And I think simplicity always wins.
Yeah.
All you need is your
Totally.
body, your mind, and what you believe, and you bring it together. And boom, manifest your dream. So yeah, and then you can go to my website, ericbigger.com. You can set up, attention or for one-on-one coaching. I also offer that outside of spiritual fitness. And I'm just here to serve. I'm here to do what I'm here to do, and I'm here to love it, give people back what I've learned and endured, so we can all win. It's all about collective. Like, how do we win together? And how do I continue to tap into myself to help more of us by being more of me, right? So I can spread the energy in the universe. So
yeah.
love, light, positivity, authenticity, transparency, and just rawness. Like sometimes you just gotta be raw. People tell people how you really feel. If you're angry, be angry. If you're sad, be sad. And look, don't be like me. Be positive, be happy. Don't be ultra positive because you're trying to not be sad. But I allowed people for a long time because how I was raised stop me from being who I really am. And I'm a very energetic being. I love life. I love living, despite anything that might go on. I'm a natural, happy person.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna dumb my light down because it doesn't resonate with you. Like, no, I'm positive. I feel great. Like I woke up on the good side of the bed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't allow someone to dictate or make you adjust. Be cordial, be professional, but be yourself.
Totally. And let the people go who are not letting you show up
Yeah,
as your true self.
so
Yeah.
it is.
Yes. Thank you, Eric. Everybody needs to check out his Instagram, The Daily
Follow,
Wisdoms, next level. He's so inspiring. And
just connect.
yeah,
Let's work. Let's win.
yeah,
Let's learn. I mean, I'm pretty sure I can learn from you guys as well.
yeah.
It's a collective effort. And Lindsay, I just want to say thank you for holding space on this podcast. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and tell my story. And thank you for being you and continue to be a powerhouse and continue to help people heal and evolve and just tap into their spirit guides. Because I'm learning that from you,
Yeah.
Archangel Michael and the other ones and the blue light
Yeah.
beings and truth consciousness and all the
All
things.
the things. Love
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you, my friend.
Love.
Thank you for joining me on the Hiding in Plain Sight podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review. Feedback and episode ideas helps us reach more listeners. I would love to connect with you further. You can visit my website at lindsaymazza.com and add me on Instagram at LindsaydMazza. Until next time, keep sharing your stories and vulnerabilities. because one story at a time connects us all.